Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Casanova two times. Now, Casanova two times has been in the news a lot, man, since he got locked up last year in this whole RICO case. Now, it looks like things aren't going too good for Casanova's team or his homeboys. I don't know what you want to classify him as. Right now, we could just call him as Cody's because we don't know Casanova's relationship with these guys. Just because he's in the indictment with them doesn't mean he always rolls with them. It ain't always like that, right? Well, it's looking like another one of Casanova's Cody's done copped a plea, man. Done folded on him, man. Now, this doesn't mean that he folded on Casanova or said anything about Casanova. This just means that he copped a plea. He's taking a deal because he doesn't want to deal with that time. Now, before we get to the specifics of the story and tell you how this could affect Casanova's case going forward, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about this whole Casanova situation, man. Now, I'm going to be referencing a story from allhiphop.com, and basically they've been following this case closely, man, just like myself. I've been following this case closely and, man, talking about each and every turn, and this is just the latest development. Now, in the headline of this story, it says, Gorilla Stone Rain, Godfather, takes plea instead of fighting feds in RICO case with Casanova. So from that headline, you can already deduce that, hey, man, whoever this cat is, they consider him the, in quotations, Godfather of the Gorilla Stone Rain or whatever that is, man. So it's looking bad, man. If that's the dude who they assume is on top, not saying that he is, we don't know that, because there's been another name that's been put out there as the person on top of the total organization, right? It looks like, man, he copped a plea because he didn't want to take it to court. Now, there's a couple of reasons why somebody would do this. If they take it to trial, they might be facing too much time and it might be too hard for them to plead or to find that they're innocent in the course of a trial. And their attorney just tells them, hey, this is the best deal we can get you. Now, the story starts off by saying this. It says, the feds continue to take down the gang Casanova is accused of running with the Untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation. Remember, when Casanova got locked up, it was put out there that he was allegedly a member of this Untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation, and they weren't to be played with. They had a lot going on. They were wrapped up in one RICO case several years back. Now a RICO case just started last year that brought down Casanova with him. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of twists and turns in this. He's had Cody's in this case that have already, tried to cop pleas before or tried to do their due diligence as far as, taking care of themselves and reassigning attorneys and switching out lawyers. It's been a lot of stuff going on. But in this case, they're talking about this guy by the name of Brandon Nieves. Now, my bad if I mispronounced the name or whatever. Now, the story goes on to say this. It says, Brandon Untouchable Dot Nieves, one of the highest ranking members, decided to plead guilty to charges prosecutors filed against him. So basically, Brandon Untouchable Dot Nieves, I guess that's his nickname as well, Untouchable Dot, and he pled guilty, man, to the charges. Now, Nieves is one of Casanova's 18 co-defendants in a RICO case the government filed against Gorilla Stone in December 2020. Remember, at the end of 2020 is when all this started to go down. That's when Casanova had to figure out what he was going to do, if he's going to turn himself in or not. And then he turned himself in, and he's been locked up ever since. He's tried to get bond, but he hasn't had an opportunity to get his bond conditions approved. Now, the story continues by saying, prosecutors accuse Nieves of being the godfather of Gorilla Stone Rain, one of the 8 caves of subsets that comprise Gorilla Stone. So they're saying there's a whole hierarchy where there's a Gorilla Stone Nation, and then you have different caves, which I guess are like different subsets. And the one that he's the co-godfather of, allegedly, is called Gorilla Stone Rain. This is way more organized than I thought, man, or anybody would think. And this is good. This is interesting information, man, because it gets you a better picture of why they went with a RICO case and brought a RICO against these cats. Not saying that they were just in doing so, and not saying that they're completely innocent. I'm just saying it's starting to make more sense now. Now, it also says that Nieves was caught on wiretap with 2 other Gorilla Stone members who were plotting to stab those who violated the rules while they were locked up in prison. So they're saying they got him on wiretap, on the wire, telling some other folks to stab 2 dudes who violated the rules while they were locked up in prison. I can only assume what their rules are, and all this is. You know what I mean? So it also says he was also exposed on another wiretap with an alleged Gorilla Stone member, Ahmed Ammo Walker. The trio of alleged gangsters were busted talking about selling drugs and other Gorilla Stone activity. So they're saying they got him on a wiretap a second time talking to another guy by the name of Ammo, and he was allegedly talking about, selling drugs and stuff like that. Man, I can't believe these cats was talking about all this stuff on the phones, man. That's wild, man. When you start to think about it, and I ain't no street dude or nothing like that, but even what you see in movies, you would expect them not to be on phones talking on wires like this. Now, I don't know. They don't go into and say specifically if somebody was, tapped, like somebody walked in with a wiretap on them and was recording them, or if it was phone conversation. So let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, it also says the evidence is especially damning for Nieves, who was already on probation for ordering a prison stabbing on behalf of Gorilla Stone in 2015. Now, Nieves faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison. He is charged with racketeering conspiracy, narcotics conspiracy, possession of firearms in furtherance of a narcotics conspiracy, and aiding and abetting. So it looks like, man, he got a lot of cases to fight in this RICO, just him individually. And it's wild how this thing works, man. How you have one case and you've got so many different charges with so many other moving pieces and moving parts, man. It's probably a lot to keep track of, but each person has their own attorney, their own lawyers, and usually has to fight it on their own. And obviously in this situation, it seems like his lawyers thought the best case for him would just be to plead out, man, and try to get some type of time, that way, or do whatever he could to get the less amount of time that way, I guess. And you know what I mean? So it says he had a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years. So, a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years, if he pleads out, I wonder what the judge is going to give him for pleading out, man. He might not get as much time as we're thinking. You know what I mean? Now, it also says this. It says Nieves will plead guilty on November 18th, 2021. So they've already set up the date and the courthouse and everything where he'll plead guilty. Now, the story continues by saying this. It says, Casanova was one of the hottest rappers in the business before he became jammed up in the government's RICO case against the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation. Casanova is currently being held without bail, man. Like I said, he's had a couple of times where he tried to get bond and it just hasn't worked out in his favor. The feds claim the rapper was also a large-scale drug dealer who committed acts on behalf of the gang. That's where we get the RICO involvement in all this, right? That he allegedly, was acting on behalf of the gang. But, man, we don't know if that's true. And like I said, this is all alleged because everybody is innocent until proven guilty as far as I'm concerned. Now, it finishes by saying Casanova has pleaded not guilty to charges that included racketeering conspiracy, narcotics conspiracy, possession of a firearm, and furtherance of narcotics conspiracy and aiding and abetting. If he is convicted, he faces a minimum of 15 years in prison and a maximum of life. So, wow, man. I don't know, man. With everything that's being revealed and what happened with his last Cody, basically almost doing the same thing, and all the shuffling of lawyers between his team and stuff like that, everybody's seeming like they're structuring themselves to take some type of deal. Do y'all think that Casanova's going to be taking a deal as well? That's the real big question, man. And to be real, man, Casanova 2 times has already pled not guilty to these charges. So the bigger question is, do you think that he'll ever have a career in the rap game again, man? Or is it done for Casanova 2 times? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.